Hello, good afternoon, Matrix.
Hello,
How
good
are you
afternoon.
today?
I'm good, Professor.
It's
How
really
are
nice.
you?
I'm fine. It's really nice to see you again. It's been a while, so I'm happy that you have the time to talk to me today. Thank you. I'm going to begin with a little introduction about the project
Okay,
and a little quick biography of you, and then we'll get into some of the questions. I know you only have time for one interview. So in this interview, I'm going to ask you a little bit about your life in Myanmar before you moved to the United States. And then in the second part of today's interview, I will talk to you a little bit about your experience here in Montgomery County and at Montgomery College and about your plans for the future. Okay, we have about 1 hour.
sure.
I'll begin with a little introduction about you. I know you as Matrix. You can tell us more about your nickname in a little bit, and I will try
Okay.
to pronounce your name correctly. Cho Zin Tu, is that right? Can you say it?
Yeah, chosen to. Yeah, you
Thank you.
really, yeah, really good.
I'm trying.
Yeah,
Perfect. So let's see. You were born in Yangon, Myanmar, and Yangon was formerly known as Rangoon, and Myanmar was known as Burma and was
that's
renamed in 1989, I believe. Is that right?
yeah, that's correct.
Okay. And now you live with your aunt and uncle in Brookville, Maryland. You speak Burmese and English. You moved to the United States in August of 2022. When you were back in your home country, you studied engineering for 4 years, but you now plan to study information systems. I know that you started studying at MC in the fall of 2022 and that you're planning to move to New York City, which is very exciting this summer, and that you hope to attend the Borough of Manhattan College or LaGuardia Community College. So it's very exciting. Keep us posted on that. And I know that in your spare time, you enjoy playing soccer, watching movies, and hanging out with your friends. So thank you, Matrix, for taking the time to tell me your story. My name is Heather Bruce Satrom, and I teach an ELAP, English Language for Academic Purposes at Montgomery College. This project is called History in the Making, documenting stories of immigrants and refugee students at MC. The goal is to help others better understand the experiences of immigrants and refugees in the United States. Telling your story will help others to better understand the challenges that you face and appreciate the resilience and perseverance of people in your community. So I'm very grateful for your participation. Today is Friday, March 31st. It is about 3:45 in the afternoon and will take about 1 hour. So could you, to begin, a very easy question, could you tell me your full name and spell it for me, please?
Okay. My name is Cho Sin Tu. So it's spelled KYAWZINTHU.
Great. And do I have permission to record this interview?
Yes, you have my permission.
Thank you. And you saw the questions in advance. And as I mentioned to you earlier, if you want to skip any questions, just say, I'd like to skip a question. That's fine. If you need a break at any point, that's also fine too. So just let me know.
Okay.
So first of all, let's talk about your name, how you chose the nickname Matrix. I imagine that there is a story behind that. Can you tell us the story about why you use the name Matrix?
Oh yeah. So English nicknames are not very popular in my country. We usually use our like back name or something like that. But when I came here, like when I have to talk to everyone, like we have to say name each other. So whenever I say my name, like everyone's like so confused and like they didn't really understand. So I have to explain them like every time I introduce to someone. That's why like I had an idea. It would be better if I choose like an English nickname so that I can communicate better with other people in here. So I choose Matrix because like when I was younger, I love to watch the movie called Matrix, like a 007 action movie. and then I really interested in the name Matrix, so that's why I decided to get the nickname.
What did you like about that movie?
Uh, when when I was a kid, like dodging bullet and then like that kind of like crazy agent movies are like really inspire me. So yeah, that's the coolest movie I've ever watched in my childhood.
I remember when that movie came out. It was very innovative at the time. Yeah, so your name is easy to remember because I think a lot of people are familiar with that movie. So let's see, go down here a little bit. Tell me about when you moved to the United States and what year?
Into 2022.
Okay. So before that point, can you share some memories about growing up? You grew up in the capital city of Myanmar, now known as Yangon. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, that's a very big city, right?
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about the city where you grew up? Tell us about Yangon.
Oh, yeah. So, Yangon was once the capital city of Myanmar, but later then, the government decided to build a new city called Naypyidaw, and then they name it like a capital city. But Yangon was the pop, the most popular city around the country, and it's also like a commercial city. So all you can see like all the people walking at Yangon. It's really crowded city, and like you, it's really fun. It's really entertaining city. Yeah.
Did you grow up in a big family?
Oh yeah. Actually, my family, my father, my mother, and my elder sister, and me, that's just it. But since we live together with the other cousins, so we really became like a big family. And even though they are my cousins, we feel like we are like a sibling each other.
That's
So,
nice.
yeah.
And did you grow up in an apartment building? What was your house like where you grew up?
Oh yeah. Mm, until I think when I was yeah. Oh, so since I was living in an apartment since I was born to I think around 2016. But after that, my family bought a house, and then we moved to there, and then we lived there. We lived there since then. Yeah.
And can you tell me one of the um, photographs that you sent, which we will post, shows you wearing traditional clothing. Can you talk a little bit about that clothing and how that reflects your culture?
Oh yeah. I mean, you are talking about the volunteering, I think. So it's I remember it's like when I was in high school. So whenever we have a school break, I went to the monastery to volunteer. So in monastery, in it's like a summer camp for the kids. So I volunteer in like for the for watching the kids, feeding the kids, or something like that. And also in our culture, we have to wear traditional clothes in a monastery, pagodas, or something like that. I really love to wear my traditional costume because they are like comfortable, and like it's it's really suitable with the weather also.
So you volunteered in a monastery where monks lived?
Yeah, yeah,
These were Buddhist monks?
yeah. Buddhist man, it was really a big, really big a compound where like multiple buildings.
Is
Yeah.
Buddhism very important in your home country? Are most people Buddhist?
Yeah, so most of the majority people are Buddhism. So yeah, of course, like monk, Buddhist monks had really great influence on our people. Yeah, so we really like some in from the aspect of religion. we have to respect them.
What is a really important holiday in your home country?
I I mean we have holidays in every month of the year. So but the most enjoyable and most longest holiday was in April, I think. Yeah, which was the Indian festival. So it is like the New Year, Burmese New Year. So we celebrate as we welcome to our new year. So during the Indian festival, we splash water each other, you know. So like it was really fun, and it was we celebrate for 4 days. Yeah.
Did you say part of the celebration is splashing water at each
Yeah,
other?
yeah,
Can
splashing
you talk a
water.
little bit more about that? Explain the meaning behind that?
It's like so during the Indian festival, it's gonna be based on the timeline. So since when I was younger, there's no like entertainment stage or no really big stage to celebrate the water festival. So as a kid, we have to carry the water bucket to the street, and so whenever when people pass the street, we splash water, and then like it's just like a traditional. They didn't matter us, it's just like a traditional. During this period, you have so people will splash you with water, and then you can't matter them. Yeah,
And then you
but
get mad at them.
yeah, so as the in modern life, modern timeline. So there are a lot of like entertainment places, like people, or a lot of companies build a really big stage, a really big compound where people can, play with water, dancing or enjoy like something like that. So yeah, it was really fun.
It does sound fun to splash water at each other.
Yeah.
Were there traditional foods associated with this New Year water festival?
Yeah, that it's called Molong Yevo. It mean like it's just like a you know like a round of wheat. I don't know how to describe it, but it will be better if I show you the picture.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah,
send me a picture later. We can include that.
yeah.
When you were growing up in your home country, you mentioned that you saw the movie Matrix, which of course is science fiction. But did you see other movies or television series that had images of the United States in it? Did you have an idea about the United States because of movies or television?
Yeah, I mean, in my country, we call like Hollywood movies. So they are really popular in my country. And also, I also like to watch the WWE, yeah, SmackDown. So I could see the like American flags in every matches. So I was familiar with like American culture, not in person, but but from my vision.
And how was it different when you got here? What was the contrast between what you had in your mind from Hollywood movies and what the reality was?
Oh, yeah, that's a great question. So it was, honestly, it was totally different. As a kid, like, I was thinking like, if I move to United States, it would be really fun. Like people are always partying, or people are always fun. We can watch the game, like football, American football, baseball, basketball, something like that. But when I came here, like in here, like everybody is busy with their jobs, and like they have they only have a time for their family, so they don't really match like social things. And then I'm not sure, but based on my experience, in Maryland. So it looks like it.
Do you feel like it's difficult to get to know American people?
Yes, of course. Like at first, like really, it's really difficult. Uh, I don't know. Like based on my experience, they are really a great people, but they are not the person who will always start the conversation. Like if you start the conversation with them, I mean, they're really like good listener, and then great communicator. So you will get a friends later. Yeah. But all you gotta do is you need to make that first conversation first. Yeah.
One thing that I remember you mentioning when you were in my class was that most Americans know very little about your home country, that they don't know anything about it or only a very little bit. Maybe that's because of the name change of your country, but it may be for other reasons as well. Do you find that frustrating that people in America know so little about your home country?
I mean, it's not uh uh, it's not the like frustrating things, like uh I because like I said a little people know about my country because like all I as is like a student around here. So for students, they will probably don't know my country because like our country is not that at the moment, famous at the moment. But whenever I ask like the adult or like older people, they always know my country. Like, oh, it was Burma. So yeah,
It was
they know
Vermont.
my
That's what people say.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
One of the pictures you sent that I love is of some of the students in our class on the last day. And when I looked at that photo, there are students from everywhere. So since you've been at Montgomery College, have you had the chance to learn about other cultures as well?
Yeah, of course, like here we can see people from like a lot of people from different culture. So uh in our class, like I met with Eric, who is from Bangladesh, also like Australia from Mexico, and uh Ayusha from Nepal. Yeah, I think so. It's like there are a lot of people in from the different culture. So yeah, whatever we talk about is like different cultural things from our each own country. So I learn a lot. Yeah.
When you were in your home country, how old were you when you first started studying English?
So we have to say English. I think uh the elementary school.
Mhm.
Yeah, so English has been the like one has been the most has been the major subject since uh elementary school until to the graduate school. So uh we have to learn English, and then like we have to learn only English subjects in university. So we don't learn our own language in university.
You use English in university there?
Yeah,
Is it
we use
British English because of the history of colonization?
yeah, most of them are British English. Yeah. That they like they don't I mean we don't really take serious about the British accent or like just talk whatever we want.
So when you came here, you had to take a placement test
Yeah.
and you were placed into the ELAP program, English Language for Academic Purposes. How did you feel about that, having to take English classes?
Oh yeah, so uh I took a IELTS test before I applying for the college in here. So I got 6.0 out of 9.0, I think. So I had to speak with the counselor, one of the like a counselor at MC. So we made a like an online meeting, and then like she asked me some question and I answer, and then like she said like your English is like good, but I will put you in the Eli 990 first, like if you
Our highest level class, the capstone course.
Yeah. That's why. That's why I'm okay with the, you know, actually I'm like I was very happy about that because I can see a lot of people from like different culture, you know, who are also maybe like a freshman in college, so we can share our experience.
So in that class, that's the capstone course. And for people who are not familiar with it, there's reading, writing, speaking, and listening in that class. So it's a lot.
Yeah.
And you use technology in that class too, because you were creating digital stories. So you were learning a lot. Did you feel like that class prepared you well for the credit level classes that you took after?
Yeah, of course, like it helped me a lot. So now I'm taking English 101 class. So you know, I don't feel like I'm struggling in my English 101 class because I already took the Eli 99 class. I know some of the, writing techniques or concept about that. So yeah, I'm okay with that.
What differences did you notice between your experience going to university in your home country and your experience going to college here at Montgomery College?
I mean, it's there are a lot of there are a lot of differences because like in my country, so whether we pass the we like whether we are qualified for the next year or not, deciding whether we are qualified for next year or not is based on based only on our midterm and final exam.
Uh,
So yeah, they don't give us like a homework, assignment points, quizzes. So like I mean, if you pass the midterm and final exam, you're good with it. But in here, you have to, you have to make an effort in every, like every assignment, every quizzes, because they give you different percentage for the grade. So I have to take care like everything.
that is a big difference. Um, I had a question for you about related to the final project that you did in my class. You spoke about the participating in demonstrations that happened during a military coup in your country. Can you tell us a little bit about what happened at that time and your decision to participate in those demonstrations?
Yeah. So our country was really like a developing country, and now we could see like a great potential for the future. There are a lot of great opportunity for us, especially like teenagers or graduates. So, but unfortunately, there was an outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic, and and like once we recover from the COVID-19, there was also another problem, which is the military coup. So the military government seized the country power and detain the president and the other leaders. So our current president was the president like we voted for, right? So the military we don't really like the military government, but they control the country. So we are not like we are really frustrated about that, and then we are really angry. So we start demonstration and then protesting. Uh, up- I did around all over the country. Yeah.
And can you tell me a little bit about what that was like? You mentioned in class that there were groups of teachers that were demonstrating, that there were students who were demonstrating, doctors. Can you
Oh
tell us
yeah.
more about that experience?
Yeah. So we made like a movement called Civil Disobedience Movement. So it's like a CDM. CDM means uh Civil Disobedience Movement is like people who work under government has who work under government are like they didn't have to quit the job, but they just stopped working for the government, for the military government, and
They went
then
on strike.
yeah, they went on strike and then protest. Yeah.
And what was it like for you? Was that the first time you had ever demonstrated in the streets? Had you done that before?
Yeah, it was my first time, and then it was really like horrifying, like at first, like we just we just protest like peacefully, and then we just want back our home, and then the next day we protest again. But later then the military start using like the leader weapon forces, like guns with a real bullet, not a rubber bullet, and then tearing gas, and then like sometimes they use machine gun.
Were you
So
afraid to participate because of that?
yeah, I'm really afraid because like when you are in a very crowded area, you can't really escape from the bullet, right? So it was really horrifying, but they will shoot you in the crowded, and then if you are arrested, you just have to go to the jail straightly. There's no like a court date or something like that. You have to go to prison directly.
How long did those demonstrations take place? Over how much time? Was this something that like over weeks, months?
It took like mm, probably around 5 months. So like I understand, like when the military government that's using the weapon, like deadly weapons. So I mean, no one wants to come out of the street and then got shot or something like that. So as they keep using the weapons, and then like they're less crowded area, and then we just stop, and then we just like make a movement online, and then like stay at our home, something like that.
What year was that when that took place?
Just played in 2021.
And did you demonstrate with your classmates? Were it was like other students from the university?
Yeah, so like it's like it's really different every day, because like one day I demonstrate with my classmate from my university, and then the next day I demonstrate with my best friend, like, and then the other day with my neighbors, something like that. So
Were your
yeah.
parents worried about you participating?
Yes, of course, like I mean they have been like calling me, every time. And then like there was a moment I remember that it was what I was demonstrating with my classmate from my university. So that the military, like the military soldiers, like came, and then they just ran after us. So we have to run and hide, you know. So at that time I was hiding in an apartment in garage. So so that the soldier can see me. The soldier couldn't see me. So I was hiding in the garage, and then like my parents keep calling me, for my, I have to silent, and then I have to turn off my phone, because like if I make a noise, I could get caught by
That must
the
have been
yeah,
that must have
yeah,
been very scary, I imagine.
yeah.
Um, what happened at the end of the protest? Were they successful? Were they not successful? What's the situation like now in Myanmar?
The situation right now is like, I mean, we made a great impact, not just over our country, but also all over the world. So they know what was really happening in Myanmar. And then, like I said, like they keep using the military government keep using, like deadly weapons. So we we were really like afraid to go out. And then the protest, I would say not unsuccessful, but the protest was like nobody wants to protest anymore because of that. Yeah.
So did that influence your decision to try to come to the United States, that experience?
Yes, of course. Because of the our country situation, so I couldn't continue my like our university were closed, so I couldn't continue my education. You know, like I have to. stay at home for like over a year. So I decided to make, like I should go to other country and continue my study because like I'm getting older, like if you're like I also need to provide my family. So that's why like I decided to move to United States because like they are my relatives. So they said like they could help me with everything. So I decided to move here and continue my study.
So you have an aunt and uncle who live here and they were able to help you come?
Yeah. So they were the US citizen here. So they helped me a lot. But I mean to get a visa, I have to do it myself, of course. But once I came here, they helped me with everything.
Did you come as an international student or did you seek asylum here? What was the process for coming here?
I came here with international student visa, which they call F1 visa. Yeah.
Um, and tell me about when you first got here, what were your impressions?
Oh, so uh, it was, like at first, like I didn't really, know about the surrounding or cultures or living style. I was okay for the, first 1 week. So after that, like I thought it was like really this is just for me. Like everything's completely new, and the weather is also crazy cool. Yeah, yeah. And
Did
then
you
like
come in the winter time?
we have a winter in my home country, but not that cold.
So
Our
that
win yeah,
the
our
winter was
winter
a
is
shock to you.
our winter is like summer in here.
So that was a big adjustment for you.
Yeah, yeah.
And you come from a very large city, but you moved to Brookville, Maryland. So that must have been a big change too.
Yeah, it also big changes for me too because I came from the big city, so if I come up with a house, I could see, there are a lot of people walking down the street, and then a lot of like entertainment things, like restaurant or something like that. But in here, when I like came out of my house, I can only see the, cornfields or like something very. I also like my place is really quiet, so sometimes I really got like bored and then tired of it, like there's no neighbors or something like that I could hang out with.
Is that
So
one of the reasons why you want to move to New York City to be back in a
yeah,
rich urban
it
area?
yes, it is one of the reasons. Yeah.
And you sent some pictures of hiking in Harper's Ferry. And where else did you go hiking? I'm trying to remember.
Grateful.
In Great Falls. Yeah. So tell me a little bit about, have you learned to appreciate the nature around here? Is that important to you?
Yeah, it was really like hiking is really important for me because as I like, I just like walking, like just some kind of hiking stuff. I need to like keep my body moving, and like the idea I got is like when I first, I think it was the first week of the school. So, like I have no friends and I know people from my class, but they I don't really familiar with. So I decided to find a club that I could join to make the, school activity or like make new friends. So I found a club called International Friend Club. So I signed up for it. So the organizer is Mr. Home. He is Chinese. Yeah, he is a Chinese. So we could really relate it with the Asian culture. So like he told me about everything, everything like different time, like about the weather, about like which place you should go. So that's the so this club organized all of the hiking that I want, and then I got a lot of new friends. Like I met a lot of great people. So they are really nice.
Was this
So
through the student life office at Montgomery College in Rockville? The International
Uh,
Student Club, is that through Student Life? Do you know?
yeah, I have about that, but I mean, in my first semester, I got, I took only like 4 classes, so I have like a lot of plenty time, to spend. Uh,
Sorry, let me repeat the question. I think
okay.
let me rephrase it. When you went on the hiking trip, was that through Montgomery College? Was that organized through a professor or a staff person at Montgomery College who organized those hiking trips?
Oh no, it was organized by the International Frank Club.
International Friends Club. That's not through Montgomery College.
Yeah, no, Montgomery College. Oh no, it is the club in Montgomery College.
It is a club. Okay,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so it's probably through the Office of Student Life.
Yeah, I think so. But
So
I don't know how they work, but they always like send us the message like we will go a hiking this week, which time, which place. Yeah.
that's great. So you went to tell me about your experience at Harper's Ferry and at Great Falls. Tell me a little bit about what your impressions were when you were there.
Okay. So Harper's Ferry was the first hiking trip I went in America. It's like it was really great, like it's a it was really a long walk to the top of the mountain, but once you reach the top, like the view is really breathtaking, like it was really wonderful. And also I met a new people, and then I talked with them, and then we exchange the contact each other. Now we sometimes hang out at school, on campus. Yeah, so and I mean, I found like most of my friends from that club. So
Nice.
it really helpful for me, to meet new people.
That's great. Can you tell me where some of those friends come from?
Uh like since it was like an international student friend club, so like the most of them are international students. So they are from Mexico, uh Mongolia, Peru, and Zimbabwe. Also, some of them French, I think. Yeah. So, yeah, there are a lot. Yeah.
And it's one of my favorite parts about Montgomery College is just all of the places that people come from. When you meet people either at MC or in other parts of your life, what is it? What is something that's important that you want to share about being from Myanmar? What is something important about your culture that you want other people to know?
Mm, that was a good question. So, like, um, I mean, there's not much talk about my culture specifically, but I would according to our culture, so like when we are like talking each other, we just like we just respect each other. I don't know how to describe. Like, okay, so for example, if you are talking, I would just listen. I'm not gonna stop you and then talk whatever I want. I will listen. You're talking first, and then I will talk to you back. So that's a kind of thing. But I had like in here like some people like they don't want to listen, they just want to talk. So yeah, I found that difference. It not a big problem, but you know, from
Listening,
my perspective, it's really like disrespectful. Yeah.
so listening carefully to other people is an important part of your culture.
Yeah.
I like that. Thanks for sharing that. Are there you mentioned the International Student Club and how that was really helpful to you. Were there any other activities or experiences at Montgomery College that were helpful to you or interesting to you as you made your adjustment to life here?
Uh, I mean, there are a lot of like other clubs, like other activities you could join, but for me, I for me, like I just want to make friends from my from the same class that I took, or from the Indonesian Student Club. I would like to try to join another club, but I guess
What
uh
about, for example, do you ever go to the writing center or do you use any of the
oh
academic success centers to help you with your classes?
oh, I see. So yeah, I I sometimes went to the writing center. So whenever I have to write some essay, so I wrote a draft and then I went to the writing center and then they help me suggest which part you should suggest a little, or which part you should take out, or they give me a suggestion. And also I found recently that SDEM Learning Center at Rockway in science was building. So it's really hard with my biology class. So I've been this semester I took a biology 101 class and I've been really struggling in that class. So uh my grade in my first exam one, lecture exam one and lab exam one is not that was not that great. So I decided to put more time and more effort, and then I went to the same SDEM Learning Center, and then I met with tutor from there, and they really helped me a lot. So
Which learning center was that? Can you say that again?
STEM, STEM,
Oh, the STEM Learning
yeah,
Center.
STEM,
Oh,
yeah,
good.
STEM Learning Center, yeah. So there are a lot of tutor from chemistry, biology, physics. You can take whatever you want. So they really helped me a lot. That's why, because of that, on Monday I had a lecture exam too, and then I did a great job, and then I got a good grade. So yeah, it's really helpful. Yeah,
I'm happy to hear that. I'm very
yeah.
happy. If you met today a new student at Montgomery College who just arrived from maybe your country or from some other country, what advice would you give him or her?
So um, if they are struggling in academic problems. So I would suggest them to go to the, planning center, like as I did before. So you should go there and then took the help from the tutor. And then if they are not if they are really struggling in socializing or communicating with each other, I would suggest them to join the clubs at MC. You could find a new friends, new people, and then communicate and make friends.
That sounds like good advice. My other question for you has to do with your thoughts for the future. Do you plan to make your life and career here in the United States? Or do you eventually want to go back to your home country? Or do you not know yet? Are you still trying to figure that out?
Honestly, I'm still trying to figure that out because, of course, I can currently go back to my country because of the situation in here.
You can't go
So
right now.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, we can go, but it's not safe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So uh, it's the best not to go back to my home country for the at the moment. So I don't know what will happen in next 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I try to find a career in here, and I was thinking, to settle down in here also. Yeah,
You were thinking to start here, you said?
yeah, to settle my new life in here also. Yeah.
I imagine that you must worry a bit about your family back in your home country with the situation there. Do you feel concerned?
Yeah, concerned but it's getting more peaceful when compared to back in the day, so. And they are all usually my family usually don't go out much, so it is a relief for me, even if you are staying at home, you're safe. Yeah, but sometimes, yeah, I'm concerned about that. Yeah.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years? How do you imagine your life 5 years from now?
5 years. So my first target is to graduate a degree in United States. So if I graduate, I will find a job, and then uh, also like I'll find my life partner, and then get married and get a great job. Yeah, I think.
I hope all those things happen for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Is there anything else that you would like to add for people who are watching this about your home country or about your experiences here, about Montgomery College? Any last thoughts?
Yeah, so I would suggest that like it's really like difficult and challenging, if you are moved to a new country, because like everything is totally different, will be totally different when compared to your own country. So I mean, if you want to, like if you want to make friends and then communicate with each other, you gotta do like you gotta make effort, like a little effort by starting a conversation, or like by joining the club or something like that. So I mean, there are a lot of other international students, and you are not the only one who feel like lonely or struggling in a new environment. So you will be fine like later than when you find a way. Yeah.
And one last question, how do you feel telling your story today? What emotions are you feeling as you talk about these memories?
Oh, I mean, it was really like wonderful, and then like I felt relief because like uh I kind of have to talk about my experience, and then like how I felt like when I first came here or something felt like that. So I imagine that like uh for the first I mean people who move to a new country same way like me. So yeah, from my speech or like in this interview, they will find a way to make their life better, you know. Yeah. So it
Those are
was
great
really good.
final words. Thank you so much, Matrix. I've really enjoyed talking with you this afternoon.
Yeah, thank you for giving me a chance to participate in this event also.
I'm going to stop recording now.